I feel terrible, and I don't know if I'm entitled to his money, but I can't deny that I'm tempted. Not only because it was his wish, but also because I don't want to say no to this amount of money. Around 1.3 million euros. My ex-husband, male 48, came to me, female 44, one day and told me that he was leaving me. This was about 8 years ago, and I was 4 months pregnant with our first child. I can't describe the hurt and confusion I was feeling. He didn't give me any reason. I thought we were soulmates and we were married for 10 years. I didn't see it coming at all. I tried to reason with him, but he was decided and he moved out within a week. A week later, his lawyer sent me a letter to move from the apartment. I found out a couple of weeks later that he had met someone, female 33, and that's why he was divorcing me and buying me out of our apartment. He never spoke to me until I had a late miscarriage 2 months after, not blaming him. He texted me that he wanted to see me and talk. I didn't reply. He tried to reach out a few times more, but I never answered him. When I met my current husband, male 42, he stopped trying to contact me. Now I'm happily married with 2 children, female 5 and male 3. About 6 months ago, I heard that he was terminally ill. I felt sad for him, of course, but I refused to go and see him as his last wish. This haunts me now. I know what he's done. His parents tried to get me to visit him, but I refused. What do you say to someone who hurt you this bad after all these years? Does him dying make it less hurtful? Does it make me forget my resentment? I didn't want to find out. Now, his will stated that I'm getting the majority of his estate. His parents get a generous amount for their retirement, and his nephew gets money for college. But other than that, I get everything else, including the apartment. I had a letter where he told me he was sorry about everything. He never stopped loving or thinking of me. In his mind, I was still his wife. He never got over the loss of our baby and felt responsible for it. He seemed really remorseful, and he seemed to have followed my life closely. He knew who my husband was, my children, their names, my current job. I appreciate the letter, but it made me feel so guilty that I didn't give him his last wish. My ex-in-laws are now asking me to be fair and share the inheritance with his girlfriend, or she would be on the street. Since she met him, she had dropped college and never worked a day in her life, and she has nothing to her name. The girlfriend is threatening to contest the will, says that I have used and neglected him and his trust. I have manipulated him to give me everything, and that she won't leave her home. I don't know what to do. I don't feel that she's entitled to my money, and even if her existence doesn't hurt me anymore, I still hate her. She's 33 and I don't feel that I have obligation to provide for her. Also, isn't it disrespectful to go against my ex-husband's wishes? OP should offer the ex-in-laws an option to buy out the apartment. Since they want to help girlfriend so bad, that shouldn't be a problem. She can contest, but good luck in proving it in court. Plus, if she's too broke to even survive, how can she afford a lawyer? Honor your ex-husband's last wishes and take what is owed to you. He never married her and didn't bother to leave her in his will. If he wanted to, he would have. So why should you care more about her than your ex-husband? Edit. You guys have given me a lot to think about, and I thank every one of you. Many have asked me if I was doing this because I hated the girlfriend because of our past, and if that hatred has clouded my judgment. Thank you for giving me this to think about. I instead asked myself if the girlfriend wasn't the one I had history with, if it was just a random innocent woman he met later, would I feel that she's entitled to the money he left me? My answer was still no, so now I'm pretty sure of my decision. I'm happy that it wasn't based on hate or resentment, as I originally thought and felt guilty about. I believe whatever he's left me for whatever reason is mine, and therefore nobody is entitled to it. My 26 female sister, Bella, 32 female, is getting married next month to Charlie, 43 male. It's about a month out from the wedding, and we're pretty much putting finishing touches on everything. The wedding is very extravagant, and my parents paid for most of it. I organized things like catering, photographers, etc. Now, I'm not trying to complain. I'm very happy for my sister, and happy to help her in whatever way possible. But I'm getting quite exhausted from the whole thing. I've taken time off from work, given up on outings with friends, even canceled date nights with my husband to get everything ready for this wedding. Bella is busy with her dress fitting. It's custom made, so there's a lot of trips and whatnot, and arranging things for her bridesmaids. Bella had her bachelorette party recently and ordered a cake for it. She asked me to pick it up. Not a big deal because the bakery is 5 minutes from my house, and I can get it on the way. So I picked up the cake and arrived at the venue. The cake was in a pink box, so I couldn't see inside, and I didn't bother opening it to look. I'm at the party, everything's fine, but then my sister calls me up into the kitchen. She opened the cake and the bakery wrote the wrong name on top. Say for example, instead of Bella's party, they wrote Jessica's party. Oh well, mistakes happen, but she went off on me, saying I should have checked before I brought it. I didn't want to argue with her, so I just said maybe she can cover it with sprinkles or something. But Bella said that would ruin the look of the cake. At this point, my mom showed up with snacks and things and she saw the cake. I said it's not my fault, the bakery wrote the wrong name. But she just said I should have looked at it while I was there, and they could have fixed it. At this point, I had enough, and snapped at both of them, saying I worked my butt off for a wedding that wasn't even mine, and I can't look after everything while Bella sits back doing nothing. Bella got super defensive, and said that she wasn't doing nothing. The wedding is very stressful, and she's got to organize everything. I laughed and said, what is she doing? I'm organizing a large portion of things, and our parents are paying for most of it. And she should be grateful she has family who cares about her enough to put up with her crap. She started crying and walked out of the party. I just said something came up at work if anyone asked. My mom later called me and said I was being a bad sister for making Bella cry at her bachelorette. I repeated what I said, that I sacrificed a lot for this, when my mom just said that everybody's doing a lot, and that I should be more understanding. I just told her I'm done with this BS. I'm probably not going to show up at the wedding, and I hope Bella has a great time on her big day. My mom said I was being disappointing, and hung up. Now I'm thinking I went too far with what I said, not just to my mom, but to Bella at her bachelorette party and making her cry. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Honestly, where do I start? My mom and Bella have just been piling things on me to do for the wedding. As I said, I don't mind, but it's gotten to a point where I'm more of a servant than anything else. I've actually already said no to quite a few things, but not without a huge guilt trip from them, and even when I try to talk to them about it, they basically have one thing to say, that I should be more understanding and be there for Bella. My parents are paying for like 90% of the wedding when the only thing they paid for at mine was my shoes and purse. Now, I didn't ask nor expect them to pay at my wedding, so it's not a fair comparison, I'll admit, but they're bending their backs catering to every demand. And the cherry on top is that my husband went to the same college as her, and she had a crush on him and accused me of stealing her love when we got together. I had no idea that she liked him, nor did he even know her outside of a couple of mutual friends because he was a year younger. She didn't attend my wedding. This was all a few years back and mostly been settled down now, but I think I just let my built-up rage get the better of me when I snapped. Not the a-hole. It's not your job to correct a bakery mistake. It's natural to assume the decorator completed the job as requested. Having to double-check everyone's work is stupid. Before that cake was in the box, presumably the decorator and more than one other person checked to ensure accuracy. Not your fault at all. Your family sounds horrid, just a by the way. Everyone sucks here. This is too much. I'm already stretched pretty thin. At any point instead of the big explosion, your sister sounds exhausting. But honestly, seems kinda like a family trait. Not trying to be a jerk, this is the dynamic between my sisters and me too. I'm the helper sister and I've had to learn to say, y'all are expecting too much from me. Or simply no, in order to avoid letting it build up until I blow or go too far in stress. Saying you won't be going now is a tad far down petty lane. Mild yes the a-hole. Your sister sounds entitled as duck. It's her wedding. Why did she shove organizational stuff onto you? But you should have spoken up a lot sooner, instead of letting your frustration build to the point that you exploded. Update. Yesterday I met with my mom and Bella to discuss everything. I gave some background info above, so I won't bother repeating that here. But basically I said that I was overworked and tired. I apologized for blowing up at the bachelorette party, but I mentioned that I meant what I said. I feel very underappreciated, and they're piling things on me, when Bella didn't even attend my wedding, let alone help. I remained calm and tried to explain my side of things. Honestly, waste of time. Bella said that she was angry at me, and she didn't want to attend because she didn't feel I deserved it. But it's my responsibility to help at hers since she picked a regular guy to marry. I brought up the money thing. My mom and Bella both kept repeating that she, Bella, and Charlie plan to have kids soon, so they need to save money and be stable enough for that. Whereas I'd said that I plan to stay child-free. Bella also mentioned that I never outright asked for anything, whereas she is, and our parents are fulfilling it. And maybe if I'd asked, they'd have done the same. That is technically true, that I didn't ask, so sure, I'll accept that. But the rest of it, I truly can't. It's gonna take a long time if I start typing my entire life story on here, but I've pretty much had it with my family's BS over the years. This is something I should have done a long time ago. I told them that I'll attend the wedding if they wish, for the sake of keeping face in front of family, friends, but I'm going low contact, possibly no contact. My husband and his side of the family are already low contact with my parents and Bella because of their shenanigans, and he wasn't planning on attending the wedding anyway. Of course, my mom started her spiel. I wasn't being understanding, overreacting, yada yada. So I just said that I'll transfer all the details of catering, venue, etc. to them, and they can continue on from where I've left off. I also asked that they let me know whether they'd like me to still attend the wedding, but that's pretty much the only contact I'm expecting from them in a while. My family has a tradition where every year we will each draw a name of a family member around June for a Secret Santa. You make a Christmas gift for that person, which is supposed to be their one gift that year. This year, I drew my sister and decided to make her a blanket set. She sends me pictures of things she likes, and I look through some before deciding on a pattern. Christmas Day came, and my sister was smiling brightly at receiving the set, plus the extra one I made her husband. Married for 5 years, so he knows the tradition. It's important to note that each person in my family has a different craft we excel at, so even though it is supposed to be a secret Santa, you typically know who made what. I, on my turn, knew that I could only have received a present from one of two people: brother-in-law, blanket sister's husband, or my other sister who paints. I was hopeful that brother-in-law drew my name since he was into woodcrafting, and gifts he has given in previous years were beautiful. To my delight, I was right that he drew my name. The present was lackluster to say the least. A pair of socks, a t-shirt, and a pair of yoga pants. All in colors my sister knows I really dislike, and all in her size. I tried to smile, but I was extremely disappointed. Then my brother-in-law looked uncomfortable throughout the day, asking how long I had worked on the blanket set. He seemed surprised when I said that I had started in September. Later, I heard them talking and found out my sister had bought the items I was given. This was a sister who the previous year had drawn my name and had given me yarn she bought at a garage sale, then started showing off the diamond necklace her husband had given her. I'm disappointed, hurt, and starting to suspect that brother-in-law either forgot until the last minute and got some things that my sister-in-law bought for herself to use as a gift, or that my sister said she'd get something and just threw something together at the last minute. When I left our get-together that night, I purposefully left the present on my brother-in-law's things. Today, my sister, over a Zoom call with the family, demanded an apology for my rudeness. She either didn't realize or didn't care that she was wearing the shirt that was supposedly my gift. I blew up, yelling that our Secret Santa tradition was being exploited by her to be a greedy C-word, demanding nice and extravagant gifts while not even spending $10 or a little bit of effort on anyone aside from herself. I pointedly stated that I wasn't going to be participating if this was how things were going to go, and hung up. My other sister is in my corner. My dad is on the fence, and my mom is demanding I make the apology. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. All her potential arguments are ruined when she wore your gift in the call. That's outrageous. I'm good at a craft, so I know the amount of time that goes into what you made, that this is making my blood boil, and it wasn't even my Christmas. You stood your ground, and if you get her next year, please spend less than a tenner from the petrol station on her present. Not the a-hole. Your brother-in-law and sister both behaved horribly, and I don't blame you for being upset. Your mom shouldn't be taking sides, I don't think. Your sister and brother-in-law acted terribly, and you reacted to their behavior. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I, 32 female, lost my mom suddenly when I was a teenager. My dad remarried about a year later to Maureen, and when I was 16, they had twins, Ben and Bella, 16 male and female. I've never had a close relationship with Maureen or the twins. I went to boarding school, so I wasn't around much, then moved to the opposite coast for college, and she's never been particularly polite to me. When I was 15, I overheard her on the phone calling me aloof and pretentious, and it never got better. For the most part, I see them 1 or 2 times a year for the holidays. I have a high-level job within a professional sports organization, and when Ben was about 10, he became increasingly interested in that sport. He'd ask me really involved questions and showed interest, whereas Bella pretty much wanted nothing to do with me. Since then, I've taken him to games a few times a year, and we always have a good time. He's grown into a smart, conscientious kid, and I like hanging out with him. Bella still makes it clear that she doesn't like me very much, and is generally nasty to me when I try to make conversation during family events. So I just let her live without forcing my presence on her. During lockdown, Ben started reaching out to me here and there to vent or ask advice, and brought up that he's never gotten to have a birthday party of his own because my dad and Maureen always throw a joint party for him and Bella, which he's grown to resent because it usually ends up being all about her and her friends, and makes him feel like an afterthought. So for his 16th birthday this year, I came up with the idea to take Ben and a few of his friends to a game and surprise them with a VIP experience. Amazing seats, FaceTime with some of the players, etc. I figured it'd kill 2 birds by letting Bella have her own party without having to share as well, and that everyone would be satisfied. My dad was on board, and he said that Bella was relieved that she wouldn't have to share her sweet 16 with her brother. The day after Ben's party, Maureen called me and unloaded about how Bella saw her brother's social media posts with athlete everyone has heard of, and the amazing seats experience, and was crying and furious because she never got anything like that. Maureen accused me of favoritism and told me that I should make it right by treating Bella to an extravagant night out as well. I told her she was being unreasonable, as Bella has never shown any interest in the organization I work for, and that she's not even nice to me when we see each other. But she called me an a-hole and says that I ruined Bella's birthday. She's never shown any interest in having a relationship with me, but I feel bad that she feels her birthday was ruined because I know these things feel like the end of the world at 16, and I truly don't want her to take it out on Ben either. So am I the a-hole here? Next time she calls, tell Maureen she's acting aloof and pretentious, and then hang up the phone. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. The daughter is taking after her mother, sadly. I don't think you owe Bella anything. Of course you're going to treat people who are actually nice to you differently. Not the a-hole. Ben reached out to you to have a relationship with him. He didn't do it to try to get anything from you. You both have something in common, and it was awesome that you were able to listen and hear him tell you what he was feeling. Bella wants, yet doesn't give anything in return, nor did she even try to establish a relationship before she wanted something from you. Ben holds his arms out for a hug from you. You give him a hug. Bella holds out an open hand to take what she wants.